Tennessee This Week from WATE's 6 on Your Side starts now.
Early voting on the horizon. We are getting you ready to cast your ballot, hearing from the candidates for State House District 18. And we're sitting down with Carl Dean talking about his bid for governor. Plus, Senate candidates Marsha Blackburn and Phil Bredesen square off right here in Knoxville on Tennessee This Week. Hello and welcome to Tennessee This Week. I'm Mark Mellinger in for Kristen Farley today, and we are starting with that race for State House, the District 18 seat. And joining me today, incumbent Republican State Representative Martin Daniel, as well as the challenger, Democrat Greg McKay. Gentlemen, good to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, well, let's just start here. And Martin, I'll start with you as the incumbent. We just want to give folks a sense of who you are and why you think you're the best man for the job here in the 2018 election.
Well, Mark, as you know, I'm the incumbent. I've served West Knoxville for 4 years. I'm a businessman. I'm not a politician or a government employee. I've had 26 years of business experience. I have started 4 businesses from scratch, including a nonprofit that focuses on trying to find a cure or treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I'm a father, a husband, and a father of 2 children, Sophie and Matthew, and I think I'm the best man for the job because I have business experience. I handle all facets of my business, contract negotiation, construction projects, legal matters. So I think I'm well equipped to represent the people of the 18th District, and I think that my history, the history of my service has shown that.
All right, well, Greg, same question to you.
Sure, Mark, thank you. I moved into Cedar Bluff in the west end of the district when I was just a boy. I've raised my family here. My wife's daughter, she went to Bearden High School. And I used to run the election office here. I'm the one that set up the early voting system that we still use. And the thing I used from doing that, in fact, we led the country in early voting when I was there.
This is about a decade ago.
Yes, sir. Most important thing I learned from that is if you want to get something done in government, you've got to work with all parties, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And most people around here are independents. They love to split tickets. But you've got to have someone that can work together with people if you want to get something done, because if you get someone that can't, they're just ineffective. And I think the thing I've noticed, I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. I'm knocking on doors just about every night. And what I'm hearing over and over again is people are tired of the divisiveness. They're tired of the angry, mean-spirited tone of conversation in politics, and even sometimes violence. I mean, they're just tired of that, and they want to get someone who can effective and work with both sides and get things done.
Well, I guess the question then is how does one person change that, especially here in Tennessee, where, I mean, it's almost a certainty you're going to continue to have Republican supermajorities in the state legislature?
You know, that's an excellent question. And on a personal level, I think you just have to show respect for people that have difference of opinion with you. You can disagree without being disagreeable. And I think if you talk to someone long enough, you can find some kind of common ground. Most of us want what's best for our kids, and the focus of state government should be our children's education, our children's health care, and make sure that they have jobs when they get out of school. But our kids are the most important thing in our lives, and that should be the focus of state government.
Well, Martin, you've been in the legislature for the past 4 years. I mean, what's your response when you hear people say things like the tone's too divisive?
Well, I would agree to a certain extent. I mean, certainly there is some of that going on, but mostly in the federal level, in Congress and in the Senate. What is really interesting about Mr. McKay's comments is that you see notable Democrats such as Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder advocating incivility and violence. So maybe Mr. McKay should have a conversation with his own party about that. I get along with the other side of the aisle very well up in Nashville. I work with Jason Powell and Darren Jernigan.
I talked to him today.
We work on many pieces of legislation together. So I think that Mr. McKay's comments are probably better directed toward the federal level.
If you think Jason Powell and Darren Jernigan have any respect for you, you're not paying attention. I spoke with Jason this afternoon. He's sending me some money. But I think it's important that we work together, both parties, to get done what's best for the state of Tennessee. So
let's move on now. I'll just leave that there. That was an interesting moment. Let's talk about the priorities for the General Assembly as we come around. I mean, there's so much going on, from a new budget to health care. And I'll start with you, Representative Daniel. What would your top two priorities be should you be reelected?
The top priority is to keep Tennessee on a roll economically. We are strong economically. I'm just really excited about where we are right now, where we've come over the past 8 years. 8 years ago, when the Republican Party took control of the legislature, unemployment rate in Tennessee, the unemployment rate in Tennessee was 9.5%. 9.5%. We'd used almost all of our savings, our rainy day fund, to fill budget gaps. What's going on now is really remarkable. We have $870 million in our rainy day fund. Unemployment hovers at about 3.5% statewide. AAA bond ratings across the board, and that's because of conservative, wise decisions made by the Republican legislature. So to keep that economy rolling is going to be my priority. Also, we have the opioid epidemic, which I hear much about when I talk to our constituents, which is absolutely, it does. It has affected everyone. I have attended many of the meetings held by the House of Representatives task force. I've met with doctors at the University of Tennessee and elsewhere and other experts, and that's going to be a priority for me to craft a way to attempt to get out of that problem.
All right, Greg, your top couple priorities.
Yes, for me it would be I supported Governor Haslam's Insure Tennessee plan. Now, again, it was from a different party, but I think we should have passed it. He worked out something with the hospitals where they would cover the 10% that was the state's responsibility with the voluntary bed tax. So I think, you know, if Governor Haslam tells you something is financially sound, I think you can count on that. And I would have voted for that. It would have given 280,000 people insurance. These are working people that don't have insurance now. And it would have provided a very important key tool in stopping the opioid crisis. So I would have done that. The second thing is, of course, I support public education. I'm not one of these people that thinks that we need to try giving it over to private companies to run our public education.
You're talking about vouchers?
Yeah, charter schools, yeah, all that stuff. I've never seen any evidence that a charter school is any better than a well-run public school. Now, there is an innovation that we need to look at, and they're doing it right here in Knox County. It's called the community schools. There's 17 of them in Knox County. Greater Schools Partnership runs most of them. The university runs one with Dr. Bob Cronick over at Pond Gap. And what it does is it keeps the kids after school. It makes the school the hub of the community, and the ones who don't have the at-home support, and sometimes it's not the parents' fault because they both work. They keep them at school and have activities for them. It's not good public policy, Mark, to send 8, 9, and 10-year-old boys home to an empty apartment, especially with the internet. So it keeps them at the school. It lets them get involved in projects. It's just a great program, and it's one that we need to expand.
I want to give each of you just 15 seconds, if you could, to talk about UT, its governance, and some of the controversies that have happened, revolving around things like Sex Week over the last several years. I mean, what do you think of the structure? What's the state legislature's place in it? Martin, I'll start with you.
But we restructured the Board of Trustees this year, and I think it was a good idea. I voted for it. Prior to the Board of Trustees taking their seats and being sworn in, I went around the state and visited with those of them, the 5 of them that reside here in the state, John Compton, Kim White, all of them, and I'm impressed with their abilities. I think they're going to do a better job. They're going to be more hands-on and more engaged in the process. So I'm really encouraged by the Board of Trustees, and I hope that the legislature can stay out of trying to monitor what they're doing, and that will depend on whether they're fully engaged.
Okay, Greg, you get the last word on this.
Yes, I would think that the role of a state legislator from West Knoxville, Northwest Knoxville, would be to support the university, to find out what they need, to talk with them, and help them get what they need to become a great university. I think if I had criticism of them, I would close the door and speak to them privately instead of tweeting or getting into public fights with people before I've had a chance to discuss it with them. The university is a great asset here, and we need to support it when we can.
Greg McKay and Martin Daniel definitely drawing some fine distinctions here. Gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it. And still to come, Nashville's former mayor aiming to be Tennessee's next governor. We are going to hear from Carl Dean next. You're watching Tennessee This Week on WATE 6 on your side.